episode. This is Vitamin Wednesday, and today we'll be discussing about magnesium, the magnificent magnesium. This mineral has been not given much, thought at all. It's not as popular. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's most abundant, or the fourth most abundant in our body, and it's because it's readily available in the food and the diet. But we also lose it pretty fast, and as you'll see, as we'll discuss that. But the calcium gets more market than magnesium. But I wanted to, in my opinion, I think magnesium is much more important as it directs the calcium into the bones, as it prevents the calcification in the arterial walls or the calcification in the joints and stuff. So much more magnesium, I think, is required than the calcium itself. And as you'll see, magnesium is involved in a lot of different processes. It's like a cofactor, so it's involved in 80% of the processes that are happening, or metabolism that are happening in the body. So it's very important. It keeps the cell walls permeable, the permeability of the cell walls, preventing toxins getting in or out, and making sure the right stuff is getting in. So it kind of holds that cell wall. So it also helps with a lot of nerve impulses, transmission of nerve impulses. Definitely in the muscles, it absorbs very much in the muscles, prevents the soreness after an exercise, or relaxes the muscle as in stress when you're tight, when you have a lower back. So magnesium, a great lot of importance in the body for sure. Regulates blood pressure, cardiac muscles, a lot of the cardiac issues, arrhythmias, palpitations, even strokes. They would give you a lot of magnesium if you're in an accident and you went to the emergency room. Basically, they will give you magnesium intravenously. So this way you have a lot of magnesium, so it relaxes those muscles and it's going to reduce some of that pain and then tightness. So it doesn't have a great market out there, but it's very important. More than, like I said, calcium, and there are different forms and different ways you can get it. But we lose also a lot of it, in our sweat. A lot of the minerals are lost in the sweat as we're sweating with the heat, or if you're working out, so you're losing that every day. And most of the magnesium basically is used up when we are stressed, because when we are stressed, we have the stress hormones that are secreted, like cortisol, epinephrine. So those really use up a lot of our nutrients, and especially magnesium, because magnesium is like a buffer against them, because it prevents from those hormones doing much more damage. So hence it kind of stops their damage from those cortisol, from cortisol, which are the stress hormones, and thus it takes up the magnesium very fast. And nowadays we are stressed with everything that's around us. It's not only emotional, it's social, it's psychological, physical. So there's a lot of stress that's happening. And that produces these hormones. So your magnesium levels get depleted very fast. As a matter of fact, next to vitamin D, what they're finding in the populations are very low in the magnesium. And I think also the water intake that, especially in the US, they started doing the reverse osmosis and distillation, where a lot of those minerals were stripped from the water, and most people were drinking that. And hence, the next 20, 30 years, a lot of people had cramps, and they were getting muscle cramps, so you get in the cramps at night. So magnesium was also depleted in the waters, hence you were getting a lot less of the magnesium that's required. And most of the magnesium comes, of course, from the vegetables we're eating, and the vegetables get them from the rain. It's taken up from the seawater, it falls as rain on the plant, and of course the earth. The mineral is then absorbed by the plant. As a matter of fact, in the plant world, it is known as the iron of the plant. Just like iron creates hemoglobin, and that which creates iron is required to make hemoglobin, which is required to make blood in us. In the plant world, magnesium is very important to make their blood, or the plant blood, which is chlorophyll. So a lot of the magnesium is coming from the plants, but the highest amount you'll find, of course, is in nuts, almonds, cashews, walnuts, macadamia nuts. So seeds, a lot of the seeds will have a bunch of magnesium. And now, of course, you can also get them in supplements, because not only stress, not only sweating, but also, the levels get depleted in our bowels also. So it's important to have enough magnesium in your diet. As a matter of fact, they're finding a lot of people with cardiac issues, a lot of people with high blood pressures, with high cholesterol, having low magnesium. Even the neurological disease with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, they're finding with low magnesium. So it's very important, I think, to supplement magnesium at this time, especially, as a matter of fact, in this pandemic also, magnesium is involved, with the new studies are coming out this year, that it's involved in creating or enhancing the white blood cells, which is what's required at this point in time. So a very good supplement, a very important supplement. And let's take a look, what's different options that you have. Of course, it comes in tablets, liquid, and capsules. Now, there are different forms. You might get confused where you might see magnesium citrate, you might see magnesium glycinate, and for, other forms. Now, most of the magnesium is absorbed into the muscles, by the body. But certain ones are used in certain places, like for the brain and concentration, magnesium threonate, which gets to the brain barrier. For cardiac issues, we'd use magnesium taurate or ortate. Those are really helping with the arrhythmia or the palpitations. For sleep, I would use glycinate, because glycine, the amino acid, really helps with the serotonin uptake. So really helpful in relaxing those muscles or those stress muscles. For laxative, or for constipation, magnesium citrate, magnesium oxide, which is similar to the milk of magnesium. And it really doesn't act like a laxative as such, like herbs or any other laxative. It really just relaxes those intestinal walls where everything kind of falls through. So you can take as much as you like. The only threshold, everybody has a different threshold. You may get loose stools as such. There are really no interactions. And when you're taking medications like antibiotics or any kind of calcium channel blockers or beta blockers, you may want to take them at a separate time, or any blood pressure medication, maybe 3 or 4 hours, in difference in between. And magnesium generally is taken right after a workout, so it helps relax those muscles. If you're tight, so you don't have soreness later on, or just before, if you already have some tightness in the back and you need to do some exercises. So take a lot of magnesium at that point. And of course, just before sleep, because it really, remember, it gets rid of those stress hormones. So I hope that brought some light into magnesium and its importance. And generally between 200 to 400 milligrams, it's okay in the day. And depending on your requirement and how much that you're doing, how much you're sweating, if there's a lot of stiffness. So a lot of issues, magnesium is great for, as you mentioned, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. So tablets versus capsules, I would do any one which makes sense. I think both are absorbed pretty well. And those are the different types. Just look at the label, making sure, what is it for. And I hope that answers. And we have on our website all these magnesium available also. I'm going to put a link below this. So hope you like this, and let's wrap it up for today. So this is Cosmic Mike, and we'll see you tomorrow on another episode of Vitamins. Cosmic Mike. Thank you. Have a good night.